Hello everyone, Usman here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for this video, I am going to be giving you my review for Marvel Studios' What If on Disney+. It is the new animated cartoon show that's based off the comic book series that came out in the 1970s. The comic book series itself is about really what if this specific event happened instead of what has already been written, what's already there, what's set in stone right now, what we already know. What if Spider-Man, he joined the Fantastic Four? What if he was a part of that team? What would that be like? So just something like that, like different events or something. What if Daredevil was not blind or something like that? They had a bunch of different stories they wrote back then. But this TV series in particular is about what if a specific, they have a bunch of different MCU, events or something like that they detail in the series. Specifically, we know that Doctor Strange, he was in a car crash and, his hands were destroyed, and then he went on to practice the mystic arts in order to find purpose in his life again. So this time it's about, okay, what if, he lost the love of his life or his heart? And, what if that happened or something? What if something that tragic as well happens? For the longest time, I kind of avoided, watching the show. The two reasons why I pretty much avoided it was, number one, it's not really canon to the MCU. It's not exactly something that's oh my gosh, this is going to be setting up the next phase of the MCU. This is what's going to happen in this next movie afterwards, or something like that. No, it has nothing to do with that at all. And then number two, What If is kind of it's a cartoon. So I used to watch cartoons a lot when I was about, I don't know, 10, 11, something like that. I was just I don't know, now that I'm a little older, I'm you know what, I don't know if I'm really into watching cartoons anymore. I just didn't know if I was going to take it seriously or if I was going to just be into it. Even though I know that there are cartoons out there that are geared towards young adults or adults or whatever, but still I kind of was just am I going to like this? Am I not going to like this? So that was kind of what I had. That was the kind of mindset I had going into this. What If, I actually thought was good. It's not a show that I think is the best show of all time in terms of animated series or even just just in general a TV show or any sort of MCU type of thing. I think it's entertaining in a way. It provides the right amount of humor and I don't know, a form of seriousness and everything like that, and delves into different subject matter and darkness and everything like that. So that's what I think it does, and I think it does pretty well, and it takes interesting turns in terms of doing a what if, in terms of doing the what ifs storylines with the MCU storylines, So, what if this happened to so-and-so, like I mentioned before? So I think that's interesting. The voice acting, I think, is good as well. I mean, sometimes the voice acting can be kind of just hit or miss in terms. I can understand there have been criticisms, and I can sort of agree in a way that the voice acting is kind of not that great at times. I can hear that sometimes whenever I'm watching the show. I'm okay, that so and so didn't really do that great at that, or when he or she was delivering that line. I wasn't entirely bothered by that, but I could totally understand that criticism. Because they brought back some of the MCU actors, and then they brought back some actors who. Or not brought back actors. They brought in actors, who are very much veterans of the VO world, So it's and I know about some of those as well. And I think the people who are who are very well known in the VO world, I think they did pretty much a little bit of a better job, and they kind of do sound like the actors who, from the movies who played them in live action, Robert Downey Jr. or something. There's a guy who voiced him and who voiced Iron Man, because Robert Downey Jr. didn't come back. So I think he did a pretty good impression of him, or Tony Stark himself. And I think the voice actors, the people who came back, I think they did a decent job. Not the best, but I think they did a decent job for what it was. I think the animation is, the animation reminds me of this cartoon that I saw years ago. I think it came out in 2009 or something like that. It's called Iron Man Armored Adventures. That's a cartoon. I mean, it's not exactly the same sort of style, but that kind of animation style from Iron Man Armored Adventures sort of echoed what it is. What If echoed that a little bit. And I think it's an amalgamation or a combination of 2D, 3D, that kind of stuff, and then probably a little bit of cell shading. That's what I think. And I think it reminds me of that cartoon that I saw. Yeah, it's a good cartoon. Check it out. There was another criticism, I guess, that that some of the episodes were a little too, short or something like that. They could have went a little bit above and beyond with it or something, or a little longer. I mean, I don't know. I guess I could say I disagree a little bit, because I'm I think they fit fine with that kind of stuff. I mean, I think you don't need to make those episodes way longer than they need to be. I think personally, for me, that's just my opinion. I think they pretty much tell their story within a certain amount of time, and they don't need to, go any longer. They're fun little side stories. So I personally think that they make it long enough, and it's not something that I feel like you have to go that long with. But that's just my opinion. People can disagree, and that's totally fine. There is one episode, they all have like great. I mean, the episodes were pretty good. They were good. The zombies one, there was one about what if they were like the Marvel, like the Avengers characters were zombies, and there's only probably like a select few that are not zombies. That was actually a pretty crazy episode. Like, it was just like they went as crazy as they could with that. So yeah, and I'm a guy who's not really a big fan of the zombie genre. I don't like it at all. I don't find it to be entertaining of any kind, but I think the way that they executed it in this episode alone, I thought they did a pretty good job. I think that probably might have been my favorite episode, was the What If Zombies, because I know a lot of people wanted to see Marvel Zombies for the longest time because it was based off a comic book that came out, I think probably in like the not early 2000s, maybe like late 2000s or something like that. So I personally think they did a good job with that. That was probably my favorite episode. So that probably would be my number one favorite episode. Then number two could probably be, I don't know, Doctor Strange. Number three could be a murder mystery episode that they delved into. Number four could be is the T'Challa Star-Lord episode, and then the Killmonger episode. That one as well. So I think that might have been my ranking. There's another one that I'm watching right now that I didn't finish yet. That's why I said 5.5 episodes. Captain Carter. The one where like Peggy Carter becomes like a version of a super soldier captain thing, like Captain America, but Captain Britain. I enjoyed the series, the series so far. I don't really have any major complaints. Otherwise, yeah, that's kind of like my review for that. That's kind of what I thought about What If so far within the 5.5 to almost 6-ish episodes. That's my review for Marvel Studios' What If so far for the episodes. I'm actually planning on doing a weekly release type of thing. Like, they'll release, I think they have like 4 more episodes that are going to be coming out within the next 4 weeks, because I think there's 10 episodes in one season. So I'm actually going to be reviewing the next 4 episodes that come out, episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be the video after this, and then I have a bunch of other content that I have planned for you guys as well. I hope you enjoyed my review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time.